Don't worry, be happy.
Chapter 7, My Musical Philosophy. Playing a piece of music can be compared to several different experiences, mainly with two different agents involved, the player and the listener. There's a lecture that I often give to my classroom students in an ensemble setting. Usually when comparing the essence of music, I use the example of watching a movie or traveling on a journey, which can be argued is quite similar. Being a movie director or a travel guide is a tremendous amount of work requiring a bank of broad experience and knowledge, research, insight, attention to detail, personal creativity, etc. But ultimately, even with all of those qualities and more, the final product isn't ready to be presented until the leader has successfully eliminated all of the distractions, the little hiccups and the not quite right moments, and all of those elements in the delivery. So what do I mean by that? Well, imagine you're at a theater watching a movie, and most of us enjoy the feeling of being captivated, by the special effects or the quality of the acting or the animation and such, that for a moment, we briefly get to suspend our reality and become absorbed in the experience. Basically, the best term to describe that is fun. We like to have fun, And, or if you wanted to use a term that's more artistically appropriate, you would say it's amusing. The word muse derives its meaning from the late 15th century, which means to divert the attention or to beguile, to fool, to entrap, or to enchant. And muse is in fact where we get the word music from. So we like to get lost in the experience. We like to get tricked, so to speak, into thinking that we're actually a part of it. And unfortunately, this can't be achieved if there are occasional distractions that kind of snap us out of it for a brief moment. Like, let's say you're in the theater and you're fully absorbed in the movie, and then above the heads of the couple, like about to get into this, long-awaited embrace, you see the little microphone come down or something, or, during the action scene, the editor didn't catch the editing quite right when someone's head's turning and then the camera's on the other side and their head's facing the wrong direction, or in a horror film you might see like the puppeteer behind this, what's supposed to be this terribly, horrifying monster, and you see the puppeteer moving it or something, or, it could even have nothing to do with the film. You could just be watching the film and there's a smoke detector that someone didn't change the batteries on, and so the whole time through the movie, every 60 seconds you hear beep, a little beeping sound. Like, that would drive anyone crazy. And all of these details compound into a culmination of very small distractions that ultimately destroy the experience. Or at best, leave you with the lingering desire to experience it again without all the distractions. And for a musician, the task of eliminating all those distractions primarily comes from technique. Another way to say it is, technique is the distraction extractor. And with repetition and much practice, you will slowly whittle down all of the hiccups and thorns, that cause distractions in your music. And this whittling process must be applied to a song individually and in your daily universal grinding as a whole. This is one of our main reasons why teachers insist on drilling scales and arpeggios and chords, etc., over and over and over and over again. Not just for memorization purposes, but so that you can eliminate all of the musical distractions from the listener's perspective. And the majority of musical lines and melodies and phrases and such that will come up are usually fragments and or variations of these fundamental exercises. And with the experience of repetition and drilling under your belt, you'll be able to activate these segments and not have to deal with a buzzing string like I had, or hitting the incorrect fret or whatnot. So please forgive me for being the bearer of bad news, but like a sculptor, most of your time will be tasked with patiently and painstakingly whittling down granite little by little until it's finally what you want it to be. And trying to rush through it will only result in you chipping off too much and having to go back and repair. Eventually, I started, reviewing this concept to all of my students with the phrase, if it sounded good, it was hard to do. And there's a misconception that simple music is easy to do. It may be easier to process, but to make it sound good will take much effort and will take as much effort and care as playing a complicated piece of music. Yes, even simple childhood hymn-like melodies, single note melodies will sound like trash if there are the same distractions in your execution that would have been there in the complicated music as well. In fact, you can guarantee that if you can't eliminate the hiccups and thorns at the simple level, you definitely won't be able to eliminate them at the complicated level too. They will emerge more often, in fact. So, let's say we're talking about, I was thinking about every single passing note in that passage, every single one. If I was thinking something was a silly kind of, beneath me song that just didn't deserve my attention, it would sound something more like this. I mean, it's okay, but I hope you could hear the difference when you're thinking that something is too simple to really warrant the attention. And that's why I say, if it sounded good, it was hard to do. And that first time I played through it was hard for me to do. That's where the difference in quality comes from, is the attention to detail and really processing every passing moment. Now, in my career, I've come across people who say, well, I kind of like the wrong notes, and I like the out-of-tuneness and the cheap guitar and the rawness of the buzzing frets and blah, blah, blah. And my response is, no, they don't. It's pretty much a cop-out answer. I know, sure, in some ironic sense, in obscure novelty moments, perhaps this might be the case. Punk rock kind of comes to mind right now because punk rock wasn't supposed to really sound good, and that is a rare moment. But generally speaking, if your song has the simple meal quality, like the song I was playing, let's say your song has the simple meal quality of a Hot Pocket, right? Or do you enjoy a Hot Pocket that smells delicious but has a lava hot center, or is smooth and succulent, but for the first few bites, and then you take another bite and it's still frozen in the middle? You're gonna tell me you enjoy that? Of course, it doesn't make any sense. Even just a simple meal like a Hot Pocket, you want it cooked correctly all the way through. So I guess what I'm saying is, in other words, I don't like the pretentious artsy-fartsy nonsense of that's what gives the music its character, because in most cases, the part of the song that has the icy center of the Hot Pocket is the result of laziness and lack of attention to detail. So all in all, if I had to put in a few words, what is the main meat and potatoes of the ukulele song, it would be the groove. I think most people would first say that the meat and potatoes is the vocal and the words, and I can see why they would say that. The vocal and the words are pretty high up there in the hierarchy of importance, but the real sugar and spice of the ukulele comes from the groove. And all of the work and attention with my left and right hands that I put into the ukulele arrangement is first dedicated to the groove, mainly because you want to stand out from the other ukulele arrangements that are usually strumming along with the song. And it's true that a solid and pleasant groove with bad vocals would be as much of a detriment as beautiful vocals with a crappy groove. However, even with a great voice, especially if you're performing several songs on stage, it will start to lose its charm without the variety of the accompaniment, both from an arranging standpoint and the ornamentation standpoint, all the little things you can add. You are now equipped with the armor of God equivalent of ukulele arrangements. Your left hand technique is the breastplate. Your right hand technique is your shoes. Your voice is the belt. And your lyrics are the sword. Your roadmap arrangement is the helmet. That's what you carry with you, what you're focusing and thinking about. And your bank of chords and melodic competency that you can draw upon immediately is your shield. With the discipline of consistent and well-organized practice, you will be prepared for battle. So onward, ukulele soldiers, conquer and prosper. Until next time.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who steals the water away.